Hey there, everybody. Sorry, we're late. I've got storms rolling in, and I had the internet bleep out on me, and it may happen again, so I'm warning you now. Now, all right. What's up, North? Dave Stefano here from Vikings First and Skull, and welcome to another episode of Who Will Be King, your weekly NFC North Roast session on Fans First Sports Network. Minicamps are in the books. Training camp is loading up. And while the rest of the division is out there running a UFL scavenger hunt, signing UFL cast-offs, and praying their injured guys remember how to play football, we've got Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy slinging it to Justin Jefferson. A new GM who actually moves, or who's actually making moves like he wants to win, and a defense that's going to make some people cry. Pay, Foster, and June. Let's talk our Skull Boys. Let's get into this episode of Who Will Be King? My friends and compadres from the NFC North. On the viewer's left, we have Pay from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. And then in the middle, we have the longtime no-see June from Bleachers and Speakers and his partner, Foster. And then, of course, I'm Dave from Vikings First and Skull. Today is a day where the Lions completed their minicamp today. So all the minicamps are done. And where we go from here is we get ready for training camps. But let's start off with the news of the week. I want to start off with my team first because I'm the host. I can do that. We are in the middle of a quarterback battle, as you all heard, I'm sure. I love it. I think it's absolutely great. But it's between Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy as to see who is going to come out on ahead. Now, during last week, we had Kyler Murray get up in a post-practice presser and say, I'm not getting enough reps, which was true. He's not getting enough reps. He's used to being the number one guy, getting all the reps, but he is getting all the reps. It's just he's getting it split 50-50 between the ones and the twos rather than 100% with the ones. Why is it split? Because he's in competition, a real competition with J.J. McCarthy. Now, who do we think is going to win that? Odds are it's going to be Kyler Murray, the wee widow one. And I love the people that get angry with me when I say that, but hey, I'm a heightist. I believe all the football players, other than the punters and kickers, should be at least 6 feet tall, and he's not. There's only been one person under 6 feet to win a Super Bowl in the history of the NFL, and he's going to go speak for CBS this year. But it is what it is. Now, so we've got that competition. We've got some other competitions as well. One of them's punter. We picked, I think it was Brandon Thornton. He's a Australian punter. And he's come in. He was our UDFA, and he's going against Ecker, the old veteran. And it's going to be a real battle. Let's see who can hold better. We know Ecker can hold, but we'll see. I want to welcome everybody that's here already. We have Chevy, we have Bob, we have Aaron's Quiet Place. What a name and what colors. We have Tim Lyons, representing the AFC North. We have Bob Sweet. Hi, Bob. Purple Blood. Hey there, buddy. And anybody else that happens to be watching and haven't made a comment yet. What do you all get or read about the Vikings quarterback competition? Hey?
As of the last thing I read, that the supposed division in that locker room isn't what I guess the media wants it portrayed to be. I think you can illuminate that a little bit better than most of us. But over the last couple of weeks, you did say you want JJ to win. Well, let me take that back. You want the best man to win the job, and you would prefer JJ to win the job. But do you think that the fan base as a whole would be able to rally behind Kyler Murray if and when he does win this job?
That's a great question, because the fan base, I got a buddy who runs Daily Northman, and they ran a poll on SB Nation, and it came out basically 50-50. It was just under 51 to just over 49 who the fans want or think should be quarterback. And so it's close. There are a bunch of my segment of my fan base are the screw it, JJ's trash group. And if you look at his stats last year, they were, but there was, there's the only 10 games and all that, and he improved at the end and yada, yada, yada. And there's the other half that says, well, Kyler Murray got released for a reason, and that reason happens to do with leadership. And so is he the right guy? It's going to be interesting. The Vikings are going to have, once they make that decision, and I suspect it'll be around week 2, 3 of training camp, probably right after the Ravens joint practice, they will make the decision, if not right before. And then KOC's already said he will maximize the offense towards that quarterback. Now, can KOC do that? Did he do it last year? Well, he made changes over the year to make it work. We won the last 5 games in a row. But do I see that happening? Is everybody behind him, or are the Vikings fans still a little bit, well, you're going to have to show me long-term versus short-term? We'll find out. It's interesting. The fans, like I said, are split, and that can't be good. So one of them's got to win it and win it big to bring everybody back on the bus.
Don't let Kyler connect with Justin Jefferson on a bomb early. That fan base is going to sway like, oh, no. We all in on Kyler. Let's get it going.
And it very well could be that way. It very much could. But last week in minicamp, Kyler had a bad week. JJ had a better week. If you're going, first week, this guy wins. Next week, this guy wins. It basically, JJ gained the momentum last week. But we'll see how it goes. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. It is the drama that we all love and expect from the Minnesota Vikings, that there's something just not right. And let's see if we can get there. Foster, I sent you the image of the New York Knicks won the championship for all you basketball lovers out there. And the last time they did that, 1973, Minnesota Vikings followed that up with going to the Super Bowl. Now, did they win? Of course not. But they made it to the Super Bowl, so people are wondering if history will repeat itself. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Now, we talk about, let's see what Tim, I think J.J. Murray, Anthony Richardson would benefit under McVay or Joe Brady in Buffalo, okay? Chevy, Minnesota strikes again. Yes, it does. All right. Now, we also had, as you know, a couple weeks ago, we signed a new GM. The new GM has been making moves, and he signed a couple people here. He signed more than a couple, but he's signed a couple this week. And one I have a question about. Former Chicago Bear GM was signed as a consultant. Why would we do that, Pay?
Oh.
I think so. Well, I know our fan base is not happy with Grigson, who we got from Indianapolis. However, he is a good scout. And now that we signed Pace, I'm wondering if it's going to be Teasley will call him up and go, hey, what would you do in this situation? And he'll go, I'll do this, this, and this. And it goes, good, thanks. And do just the opposite.
Not a bad move.
It is what it is.
Ryan Pace. The biggest problem with Ryan Pace was that he overpays for veterans. And I don't think he's not a bad scout. He's not bad at drafting. I think his drafting career is better than Ryan Poe's current GM of the Chicago Bears. He drafted a lot of key players. He drafted Pro Bowlers. He's drafted all pro guys. His problem was overspending in trades, and then those not working out. And also, famously, he traded
quarterbacks.
Overspend it on that in that quarterback trade that famously had Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he traded up to get somebody who's I don't even know if he's still in the league. They wouldn't speak his name. Candyman him.
Uh-huh. It's a good question, but it is what it is. But enough about my purple. Let's go to Chicago. You've had some roster moves this week. You signed UFL standouts, wide receiver, kick returner, Caden Davis. Do you think he's going to earn the job?
No.
No?
I think Khalif Raymond's pretty much got that set. Cleve Raymond, longtime Raven, longtime favorite of Ben Johnson. He's had a pretty good offseason. He had a great minicamp. I don't think he's going to be a focal point of the offense. I mean, maybe start the season, he's getting a lot of targets, but as the season goes on, I think he's mostly going to be a special teamer type guy, and he's great at that. So Caden Davis, camp body.
Okay, what about kicker Gabriel Placencia?
Play him again.
I think it's Placencia.
Placenta?
That's what it sort of looks like, but it was a C in there instead of a T.
The T is silent.
Now, from what I'm seeing, it's low risk, adds to special teams. Let's see how they do. He's brought in for competition.
I agree he's going to be just another camp body, competition.
Bottom of the roster turn, and we had a couple of those this week too. But it is what it is, and it's that time of year. We'll see. They'll bring in a couple guys and release a couple guys, and they're just building up the roller decks and who they'll do after the final cut down. When we get to that, which seems like it's going to take forever now. Speaking of which, when do you guys have your training camp start dates yet? Or have you got a range like we do?
See an official start date, Dave. That's interesting. Maybe that's the thing they're doing now, just giving out ranges.
Well, it's generally July 22nd through 25th, the rookies and quarterbacks and walking wounded report. And then the following that weekend, or right at that weekend, then the vets report. But it's a range. Now, we did have our training camp public schedule open up. The first practice the public can attend for us is August 1st. Did you guys get your training camp open to the public dates?
Looks like ours is July 26th. Is the first public.
Okay, so it's early.
No. 29. Okay, loyal members is the 26th. General public, the 28th of July.
Loyal members, what are those? Season ticket holders?
I would think. Yeah. There's some money tied to that, I would think.
Well, yeah, there is. Exclusivity costs money.
Loyal to their bank account.
Speaking of bank accounts, June, about to start the Lions. You guys just finished up your minicamp today.
Mm-hmm.
What was the news out of minicamp?
They were raving about Jimmy Roller, the rookie out of Michigan linebacker. They had a lot of great things to say about him as far as when camp started until today, how much he's progressed, learning the defense and being versatile. That he's never known at Michigan to be a versatile linebacker. He was more like that middle linebacker that was tough against the run, but he had a couple of batted down passes and an interception a couple of days in a row. So they were pretty raving about him today.
Hail to the victors.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's not been much news. We did get a couple UFL wide receivers. One, that former Michigan player, Tariq Black, he transferred to Texas. Wasn't very productive here, but we'll see. I think they're camp bodies as well. I don't think the wide receiver room is one to be happy. I mean, if you're coming in, nothing to be optimistic about being on the team. So yes, I wore it just for Tim. I wore this just for pay.
Yeah, you got Foster does the Detroit Tigers, and Jude comes in wearing a St. Louis Cardinals jersey and hat. That's too cool.
Yeah, top it up.
Pay is just shaking his head. Now, you guys got an injury with Brian Branch, right? He's recovering.
Yes.
I'm reading where he'll start out the season on the pup.
Well, he said from his own mouth, that if he comes back before December, it's a bonus. I think that was Coach Campbell said that. If he comes back before December, it's a bonus.
Okay.
So that's a timetable for him, December.
It's a rough injury to recover from.
Yeah.
And depending on how it's torn, if it's a complete tear, the whole works. It's rough.
Yeah. So Coach Dan Campbell said if he comes back before December, it's a bonus, but they're anticipating December.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, heading on the team we love to hate, the Cheese Weasels. Their minicamp ended up last week. They have Tight end Tucker Kraft is progressing well post his ACL.
Boom.
Expects a week 1 return. We'll see about that. We already know that their stud edge is going to be out for the first 4 weeks at least, which is great for Minnesota. How's the teams going to start week 1 there, Pay, in the division?
3 teams in the NFC North are actually going to start the season 1-0, Dave.
That's right. And the team we're talking about right now is going to go 0-1. Damn the bagel. So it is what it is. Now they're talking about their week 1 offensive line, who they're going to have. O-line, Jager Burton's getting first team reps. Jordan Morgan held his own versus speed rushers. Lucas Van Ness, TFLs and pressures. We'll see. They've got ongoing question marks on the line, which is why they think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And why they're so favored, I have no idea, but they are. And they brought in Tyrod Taylor. I didn't realize he was still in the league. They brought him in as a veteran quarterback presence.
I think he's in his 40s now.
He's got to be up there. I don't know if he's quite 40, but he's up there. And then, but other notes, Jordan Love, pocket focus. Are you telling me Jordan Love isn't the savior? Your fans tell me he is? Just wondering, but we'll find out. And that is the quick rundown of what's happening in camps. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. So grab your Garrett's popcorn.
Need a Garrett's popcorn break.
And we're back. Now, speaking of the Packers, I wanted to play something. It came from a talk show host on WISC, I think WICO, let's go, that his name's Bailey, I believe. And he has a few things to say. And I wanted to play it real quick. Let's see if I can find the button. Here we go.
Listening to the radio this morning, now I was listening to numerous talk shows throughout the state of Wisconsin. And after listening to the radio this morning, Packers fans, tell me this. Are you rooting for your Packers to win and win a championship and then keep Matt LaFleur? Because I'll be honest, okay, just in listening to fans today, it seems to me like more fans are rooting for the Packers to fail so they can then fire Matt LaFleur and then go win a Super Bowl with a different coach. You tell me, because I'm a little flabbergasted, to be perfectly honest with you, but you tell me, as a Packers fan, what are you rooting for?
It's Bill Michaels, WICS.
Okay.
He's supposedly the voice of Wisconsin sports. And I'm curious what you guys thought of that clip.
I am with the fans. I am rooting for the Packers to lose this year. And whatever happens after that happens as far as Matt LaFleur.
The voice of Wisconsin sports just sounds so
Cheesy.
blah. Just as a whole, Brewers, all of them. Just,
Well, and he does Brewers, the Badgers, he does the Bucks, all of them.
hate all of them.
On one of my one of the Discords I'm on, somebody said, "Why do you guys always hate the Packers? That's so disrespectful." This is like, dude, you're on a Vikings Discord. What do you think? He said the whole NFC North hates the Packers. Dude, you're on a Vikings Discord. What do you think? But anyways.
They got a lot of sports teams in Wisconsin, though. I tell you that.
Mm-hmm. But I just thought, now, I did want to bring up a graphic I saw on Good Morning Football. Here we go. Last time each team won the NFC North Championship. The crown, as we call it, on who will be king. Chicago Bears were the last one. They presently own it. Go Pay. Then came the Detroit Lions the year before. Go June and Foster. And a couple years before that, Minnesota Vikings. Go Dave. And then it was all the way back to 2021. We weren't even doing shows then. When the Packers won their last NFC North Championship. And it wasn't with Jordan Love, with the Steelers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Now, I saw a link, but I couldn't follow it, where the Packers are whining they won't own Chicago Bears anymore because Chicago's moving down to Indiana. What's the latest update on that, Pay?
Some new proposals from Illinois lawmakers, but right now, the last thing I heard Pritzker say, I think it was yesterday, that he does not see a reason to call a special session now. For those that are unfamiliar, he's not the only person in the state that can call a special session to address the Bears and their I guess stadium demands from the state. It sounds as if Pritzker is not willing to budge at this moment as far as making it a pressing issue. Now, I think that's all politics talk, because the other thing he said in that was that the Bears need to be more direct and more clear in what their actual demands are of the state. So, as I've said weekly, that the Bears have made countless missteps, and along with the politicians as well, and included City of Chicago. But as of right now, there is still a holding pattern. I believe there is some more coming to the table from both sides.
I thought I read they've discussed a different location because the hospital location was too small. It was only 30 some odd acres. And obviously they don't want it going out to Arlington because that pulls it out of Chicago. But there was some sector that they were going to build up as a tech sector along the river in Chicago that they thought they could redo and say, no, it's got enough acreage, let's change it into the Bears. Is there anything to that?
I'm not aware of any area around the river that was being discussed. I know yesterday there was in that same proposal from another lawmaker, there is an area along the border with Hammond where I forget which steel plant that used to be there, but I know there's a tech
steel
center
plant was there.
over in there. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, so we're talking about the same area. There's a tech center over there. I forget. I think it's a microchip processing center or whatnot over there by the Calumet River. It's not far from the Calumet River, but it's directly off Lake Michigan. Now that area is a lot of land. I
Yeah, it
don't
was
think
well over
very
300 acres, like stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's very promising land, but it is a land that's housed a lot of businesses for a long time in Chicago. So yeah, I mean that has been proposed. Where it goes, we shall find out. But I don't know if that's amenable to the Bears.
Well, I saw that Pritzker said we're only going to give $1.2 billion in infrastructure upgrades.
Only 1.2. This is coming on the heels of Pritzker them passing in the budget the other day of 56 Bs.
Yeah, which he raised taxes again.
Not any new taxes. Not any property taxes, not any income taxes. There are some other taxes that were raised. You are correct there, but not the two big ones. The two big ones stayed afloat.
Gambling one.
Yeah.
Electronic
digital
sign,
tax.
Digital media, yeah.
Well, those are good taxes. We like those taxes. Make companies pay taxes. We like those. But yeah, as far as the Bears go, it's still until they get what they're looking for from the Bears, and the Bears get what they're looking from Illinois. I don't necessarily think there's going to be any movement within the next few weeks. That could change because now that Pritzker's got his budget, this probably should be the most important thing to him right now. Well, there's a election coming up too, so maybe not the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very well could, but I know Indiana says we'd put shovels in the ground right now.
A rendering on that any Indiana stadium?
Have I seen a rendering? No, I've seen a generic one. It'll, looks like any dome stadium.
Do you know
one
where
of the
I'm
things
going
that's
with
going to
this?
have to be approved is the architectural renderings.
One of the first things you do is get a rendering. That's probably like page one. The Indiana gave the Bears a package deal, and the Bears hadn't even started page one.
Well, there's been some. I mean, we've seen renderings come out over the years of new Bears stadiums, but rendering is just nothing more than a picture.
Yeah, of course, yeah, but you need a picture before you can even start to get in all those other things done.
Well, you've got to have an idea how you're going to set it up, where you're going to set it up, and whether in Hammond there's about 3 sites that could handle it, and then how you deal with the water stuff and all that stuff. And then you go, all right, we need to put a stadium. How do we want our stadium to look? Remember, we watched the Cleveland Browns do this, and theirs was a big ass barn looking thing with translucent roof. And we remember the Bears stadium when they talked about building it on the lake shore, how it would come up and it would sort of quasi built like the Raiders stadium is. I'm sure it's going to be something similar. There's only, I would suspect, a handful of architects in the country that could build, that could handle something that size. But you've got to be able to.
They've got you need to have your initials. You need to hire an architectural firm to even to start these things. The Bears have not done the smallest things to even make me believe that Indiana is even really in their future.
Makes the rest of the fans in the division shake their head at how incompetent it seems the Bears are being.
I would switch out one of those descriptors that you use, and I would take that. I would say that their bluff is just being called. Like no one believes that they're actually serious about using Indiana. That's a serious leverage. No one believes.
I'm just pondering the name of the Indiana Bears.
Well, you don't have to ponder it because the Bears already trademarked Hammond Bears.
Wow.
They're supposedly already keeping Chicago, so it'll be Chicago or Chicagoland Bears.
We talked about that last week too, Dave.
I mean,
that's not always
them over, but
I don't care what it says on paper. If they play in Indiana, they're going to be the Hammond Bears to me.
Hammond Huggables. It's interesting. I mean, they're closer than they would be at Arlington Heights, but we will see. It's going to be one of those things we're going to track until they actually do put a shovel in the ground and have a choice and come out with renders and all that sort of stuff, no matter where it is. Pay will probably be asked every week, what's the stadium update? And he'll go, none this week, Dave.
You're right. Arlington Heights is a bit further from the city, from Soldier Field, where it is currently, versus where the proposed Wolf Lake site in Hammond is. However, speaking to somebody who was in Atlanta, when the Braves left Summerhill and went up to Cobb County, they said their reason for doing that is because they want to be closer to their fans. Now, us in Atlanta say that's a bunch of bullshit. It's some other stuff going on in there, but we ain't got to talk about that on this show. However, if the Bears moved to Hammond, which is another reason why I don't believe them, they will be moving away from their primary fan base. Those primary fan bases are the ones who buy all the season tickets, the ones who buy the PSLs, and those are largely located in the north and northwest of the city of Chicago. North Chicago, north side of Chicago, north suburbs, northwest suburbs, closer to Arlington Heights. So if you got 60, 70% of guaranteed liquidity, going into your organization, it makes sense that you want to put your stadium right there central to their address, right? But taking it to another state, I can't even begin to explain to you all what type of a laborious commute it would be to go from, northwest Chicago, northwest suburbs to Hammond and Indiana to watch a 3-hour football game. I cannot describe to you. If you think getting out of Soldier Fields is terrible, try doing that.
I've driven in Chicago and I know how bad traffic can get. It's absolutely miserable. But we'll find out. Like I said, it'll be open until it's open or the McCaskies sell a team. So,
maybe.
Just saying. Now, June, what are the Lions planning on doing this summer? Anything that you know of?
No, it's been very, very quiet here. It's any piece of news is like gold. It's getting to the point where the bloggers here are just like making up scenarios just to have media content. It's like really quiet. Really quiet.
I will say this.
Go ahead, Foster.
Well, so what we do, we finally got word from Terrion Arnold. He addressed the media. And I want to say this is the first time since camp has opened up. And he's doing walkthroughs right now. He's not a full participant. He said that he would have liked to have been 100% going into camp. But right now he's only 75 to 80%. But that should put him right on track for training, for the start of training camp. And they also have come out and said that they are pretty optimistic. Sam Laporta, who is also doing walkthroughs right now, they're pretty optimistic that he will be ready for training camp as well. So outside of that, And then Rakestraw, him and Rock Ya-Sin, who Rock Ya-Sin had a pretty good year last year. They're splitting the first team reps opposite of DJ Reed right now. And Ennis Rakestraw has been out the last 2 years?
Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, he was drafted with Terrion Arnold. So yeah, he's yet to play a regular season game. So it's just encouraging to see him healthy and practicing at this current junction.
Okay, now I did see where you guys were hyping up your defensive edges. They're real enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. We're
Besides Hutch.
we're as deep as we've been at the edge position since Dan Campbell has got here. So, everybody's healthy, playing, and we're optimistic that we can get to the QB this year. Because, the one thing that we haven't really talked about is the fact that Al-Qadim Muhammad, although he was kind of, downplayed, not really pursued by us in the offseason, he had double-digit sacks last year. I think he had like 10, 11 sacks. So
I know he was a pain in the butt for us.
yeah, which, he definitely, flourished versus you. He was kind of spotty. You didn't really get the same. You didn't really get the same production every. It wasn't a, even playing. But yeah, he turned up for Minnesota. So
He won't get that chance now because Christian Darrisaw is back to 100% and he looks great.
you guys play
But-
Tampa this year?
Huh?
You guys play Tampa this?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, all right. We'll see.
Now, I saw something that your coach said that being a head coach is addictive.
That's what Dan Campbell said.
Mhm.
I can see that. See him saying that.
But it was a story about head coaches burning out. And now he is not burned out. Now, I also heard a story where he was on vacation and he literally took a vacation. He set it all aside, spent time with his wife on the pool, by the pool, unlike spending it with a reporter. And
Wow.
But I think that's good for you guys. Now, we were talking before the show about the supplemental draft and Brendan Sorsby. And I said there's one team in the division that could possibly draft him. Actually, I've heard there's two. There's you guys and there's my guys. First off, tell us about Brendan Sorsby. Why is he in the supplemental draft?
Well, because he found out that he's very unpopular, Dave. That's why. He had to drop out of Texas Tech because everyone said, we don't want to play football with you, bro. So he said, you know what? Okay, you're not going to let me get my tens of millions of NIL from Texas Tech. I got to pay back my bookie. So I need to go. I guess I got to go to the NFL. And that's where we are now, the supplemental draft. And Dave, it feels like in this timeline, no one gets punished for their illicit crimes, especially their white collar crimes. He's all intents and purposes, he gambled on sports,
Bet the under
on his own team. And that's insider trading, Dave. Insider trading at his highest level. And a Texas judge granted him an injunction so he can continue to play football this season. And then that created a full firestorm in the NCAA. And he said, you know what? If y'all gonna mess up my money, I got to go to the NFL. And guess what? He's going to get drafted.
Yep.
Maybe to the NFC North.
I doubt it, but it's possible. The two teams are named there, but it's you first look at which teams are absolutely quarterback needy and the ones that come across that'll probably bid the highest, because the whole supplemental draft is a blind bid process. It'd be great if it was televised, but the NFL won't do it. But you have the Cardinals, you have the Browns, who already have 7 quarterbacks or so on their roster, but still are looking for the guy. And the Jets, they may all bid the most. Will they do a first rounder for him? I doubt it. Second rounder, maybe. And whatever pick they bid will come off the 2027 draft, off their total. Now, there's history of picking quarterbacks in the supplemental draft that turned out pretty good. Bernie Kosar is one of them. Now, for the NFC North, the rationale is, well, Minnesota may not be happy with Kyler Murray or J.J. McCarthy, and they may bring him in to see if he'll develop and be the guy next year. Interesting. I'm thinking if they do bring him in, one of those two previous guys I mentioned, we would have won, or 9 will be traded. We will find out. And then that trade will already been pre-worked out with somebody. It could go
Dave,
either
did you
way.
say you think somebody's going to give up their second round pick for Sorsby?
If they're desperate enough, yeah.
That's the Packers.
Cardinals, they're going to stink anyways. Yeah, it would be great if it was the Packers.
He's a name.
Those are pretty good.
VP?
Mm-hmm. Yes, your Browns hates coming through. That's no problem with that. Now, there's other teams that could do it too. The Steelers obviously could use a quality backup, even if it's developmental. There's other teams that are on that list that could go down, but we were picked in the mid-range pick 3, pick 4 round-ish. If they hypothetically took him, we'll see. But I don't know. June, have you been following the whole Sorsby thing?
I just know the only thing I knew until we talked backstage is that he was ruled ineligible, not being able to play for Texas Tech this year. I didn't know why. I know of him as a player, but other than that, I didn't look into why.
He made over $90,000 worth of wagers. He's spent supposedly, reportedly 4 weeks in a gambling
Rehab.
Yeah. Cop out.
Mm-hmm.
He went, if you go to rehab prior to getting caught, I'll give it to you. He got caught. They say, you know what? I got a problem. I'll go to rehab.
Yes, you do.
Classic addict.
And I'm sure his agent said, dude, we've got to change your public profile and image. You need to go to rehab. Say you got a problem. And you're working to fix it.
When I was in the union, Dave, and you got caught being, let's say you blew the box on a random test. The way out of it is like, you know what? I got a problem.
Yeah,
I got a problem. Let me go to rehab. That's how you save your job.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's a Sorsby. He got good advice.
Yep. William the Disciple asked Caleb Tiernan. He's a tackle we drafted in the 3rd round. It's who I'm talking about. 6'7", 335 pounds with short arms. I think he can do some blocking on the old line. It's possible. Possible, William. Possible.
Short arms, moving the guard.
Well, he was a good tackle at Northwestern. So you can be out of the normal, what do I call it, the mold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want edge rushers with arms to where they can scratch their knees standing up and all that sort of stuff. And they want them long and bendy and stuff like that. Linemen, they want thick and stout. The more closer to the center you get. And then tackles, they want long arms to keep the edges off, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But there are examples of people that did not follow those traits that succeeded. And Tiernan could succeed. Now, right now, he's going to be back up to Brian O'Neill, which, speaking of Brian O'Neill, he should get an extension soon, from what I'm hearing, and we'll lock him down for the next few years. So we'll have bookend tackles for even longer. Now, if we can only have a quarterback that can use them. Tim, I'm not curious what you meant there, but okay. I do believe that brings us towards the end of the show. We've been over Green Bay, whining about their dominance over Chicago. We've got Goff and Love ranked as the 2 highest quarterbacks in the division. How Love gets that, I have no idea. He's not that good.
And he ain't never been on a Madden cover.
I know. And whereas your quarterback, Mr. Go Bears, is at least ascending. Put it that way.
He getting thick, ain't he?
Yeah. I saw it.
Yo, you guys don't do. First of all, pause. Second of all, don't fall for the AI.
You're bringing your
Fall for the AI.
Fall for the AI. Are you sure it was AI?
I'm in those trash talk groups. I know it's AI.
I've got the Chicago Bears site up, and I'm looking at their photos, and he does look thin.
It's not. I would not hope he's a real thin, but no, that I'm fully sure I know which pictures you're referring to. No, that's not him.
It's all in the neck. He's looking thick at the neck.
But
yo.
Yes, Tim, looking like cheeseburger Eddie Lacy. Wow. So much fun. So much fun.
You know, if the Packers do, if the Packers, well, we got enough of those. If the Packers do want to get back at the top of the division, maybe they need to get on Hard Knocks. You know, it helped the Lions, helped the Bears, Packers. Stop being lame.
Nobody wants to watch them.
No, the
mean, you're
team that
right.
should have been on this year was the Vikings, but
Yeah.
they got with the quarterback competition / controversy, they would have been from all sorts of eyeballs watching.
Mhm. 9 is box office.
9 versus the we would have won. God, you know that would have gone. They got out of it. So it is what it is. Hey, any last words?
I think Jordan Love is overrated and Eddie Lace is a fat hog. Over at Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel, we are going to be doing Q&As, top burning questions going into camp. As you know, we've got a 6-week break before we got any more football going on. So we're going to fill that time talking about things that we need to see going into camp and burning questions. Roster moves, who's a make or break, stuff like that. So yeah, check us out at Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel, available at all places you get your podcast, and everything is also on.
What was your last show about that people want to go watch?
The last show we did, well, basketball. We had the Chicago Bulls did hire a new coach, Thiago Splitter. We are happy about that. The Bulls are having a great summer. Bulls are having a fantastic summer so far. Hopefully it continues into next Tuesday, Wednesday. We shall see. But check that out. And then we also did cover the end of the finals, the end of the NBA season. That did happen. And the Knicks, best sports fans in America? Best, maybe? Possibly?
They're the roughest.
I think so.
Hey, no one.
Not rougher than
no one
Philly.
celebrates. I got my money on the Knicks.
Yeah.
Were there any Knicks fans eating horse manure?
That's exactly why I got my money on the Knicks.
All right.
They decapitated Elmo.
Oh, okay. I missed that one. All right.
Batteries at Santa Claus, though. Did they do that?
Yeah, but they ate horse poop. So, I mean, negative 500.
That takes the cake. That's disgusting.
It is. Foster, what do you guys got going over at Bleachers to Speakers?
Well, we got the NBA draft next week, so we got coverage for that. That is crept right up right after the NBA finals. Outside of that, we'll continue to follow the, unfortunate, Detroit Tiger season that's full of injuries, and pretty soon probably we'll be trading the 2-time Cy Young pitcher. So stay tuned for that, because that'll be getting real spicy in July. So stay tuned for that. What else we got? Anything else, Joe?
Just that I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah. That's the
The headline of this episode is June is back.
That's right.
And it's in June.
And it's June.
Mm-hmm. Right. Over on Vikings versus Goal, we'll have Tyler Fornes and the Real Fornes Show tomorrow night. Haven't a clue what he plans on talking about. And then, of course, Darren and myself on Sunday at Two Old Bloggers. We're going to be reviewing the week's news as it develops, and we'll give our opinions on that. So please join us. You know where to find us because you're here already. And we love seeing everybody in the chat. You guys absolutely rock. And I always say, what do we say, pay in Chicago, or what do they say?
Bear down, Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
And Foster, what do they say in Detroit?
Don't say it, Foster. Just.
Oh, you got your own. Not bad. And of course, Minnesota, we say, Skull Vikings. And of course, fuck the Packers. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Like, subscribe, and rate us on your favorite podcast aggregator. Thank you for listening to this NFC North group effort on the Fans First Sports Network. This has been a Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans, Bleachers to Speakers, Vikings First and Skull, and of course, the Fans First Sports Network production. Thank you for listening.